The holidays bring cheer, but for others, Christmas decorations bring coughing, sneezing, and a runny nose. We're not talking about COVID, we're talking allergies. Dr. Reena Mehta with Uptown Allergy joins us now to explain what's called Christmas tree syndrome. Dr. Mehta, good morning to you.
Good morning, happy holidays.
Same to you. So let's start off with, we're talking Christmas trees, but of course there are real and fake trees. Let's start off with real trees. What issues can they bring and how do we avoid them?
So that's a great question. This time of year, as we are decorating our homes, it's really important to think about symptoms that you can have, such as allergies. So most people, when they think of Christmas trees, think of pine pollen being the allergen. Actually, pine is not a common allergen. What we're thinking about when we're thinking about real Christmas trees is actually mold and dust that actually grows on the tree that you can get symptomatic from, and you can get allergy symptoms.
And you said we're bringing those into our house, and then you were telling me just before we started here that the heater in your home and the lights, the heat on the lights on the trees, actually helps it to grow more?
Exactly. And so if you think about it, mold likes to grow in a damp and warm environment. Well, you know, this time of year, when you bring the tree into your home and you put it with lights and heat, that facilitates mold growth and also dust. And when you think about putting in all those decorations on that have been stored in some place, maybe your attic or your basement for almost a year, that has a lot of dust on it.
So if you buy a real tree, what's the best way? Because of course people love the real tree and the smell and the tradition, but what's the best way to handle it before you put it in your house to kind of cut down on those allergens?
Okay, so before you put it in your house, one thing that you can do is actually hose down the tree before you bring it into your home. So you hose it down, you actually take a little bit of bleach and lukewarm water around the trunk and wipe it down, and then let it completely dry, and then bring it into your home.
And that'll cut down on...
Exactly. And when you bring it into your home, think about wearing gloves, because when you touch the resin, sometimes you can actually get like an irritant rash. And also, we're all so good at wearing masks these days, so if you know that if you're going to breathe in the mold and dust and it's going to create allergies and asthma, wear that mask when you decorate your tree and when you bring it inside your house.
And then when you dispose of the tree, just in case people have already gotten the tree and they didn't get to do that whole routine that you mentioned, what's the best way to dispose of it?
Okay, so similar, wear a mask, wear your gloves and protective clothing, and then when you take it out of your house, you bring it out and then you just quickly get rid of it. The longer the tree stays in the home, the more mold grows. There's been plenty of studies that show that a week to 2 weeks makes a big difference. So if it's in your home for 2 to 3 weeks, that's exponentially increasing the amount of mold that grows in it. So try to keep your tree in your house no longer than a week if possible.
What about fake trees? I know those can cause issues too.
Fake trees can definitely cause issues because, again, you put it in your basement or your attic, you pull it out, and now there's lots of dust, and in places where you've stored it that have a lot of those allergens. So similar concept, probably less mold, but lots of dust. You want to take it, you want to take it out, and then when you decorate it, you want to wipe down all of the ornaments and the tree if possible as well. When you put it back together, you want to wrap it up tightly and put it in a cool and dry place to store it.
Plastic, preferably, not that cardboard box it came in.
Exactly.
We're all guilty of that.
Cardboard is a big trigger to allow the growth of mold and dust. So if you can, wrap everything back up and put it in plastic bags or plastic bins, because that'll decrease the amount of allergens that grow on it.
Dr. Mehta, really quickly, about 30 or 45 seconds left here. I know people love for their house to smell good this time of year. The Christmas tree scents and the cinnamon scents, and they usually buy candles or plug-ins, but those can cause problems too for people with major allergies.
Exactly. When you breathe in those fragrances, it can cause a lot of respiratory issues. And so try to keep it more natural if possible. So we had previously talked about you can actually take water, cinnamon, orange peels, and cloves and put it on the stove and warm it out. It gives a beautiful aroma in your home that can replace those candles that can cause a lot of allergy issues. So if you can, try to keep it natural. If you like all of those lights, try to think about doing more like LED lights as opposed to all of the fragranted and scented candles, because again, you breathe those things in and it can cause coughing and sneezing and irritation. You know, this time of year, people keep asking me, you know, with the weather changing, it's hot and it's cold, it's hot and it's cold, that's what's causing my allergies. But I think you need to remember it may actually be something inside your home, like your tree or some of the decorations you have, and it's important to kind of think about that as well.
And then of course with COVID, you don't want to have any confusion about those things, so just something to think about. Of course, make your house beautiful, but if you have an allergy problem, consider all of these changes. Dr. Mehta, we appreciate your time. Happy holidays. I hope you enjoy your week with your family.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.